Welcome to Scandinavian Missions Movement podcast. This is our first episode and we are so happy to meet all of you. My name is Matilda Löv and I'm the founder.
And my name is Alice Jönsson and I am part of the leader team in the movement.
Yeah. We are so excited about this podcast. We really feel like God has been speaking to us to do this, and our longing is that this podcast, that He will use it for His kingdom, to see His kingdom come even more in Sweden, but also in the nations. So, yeah.
Yes.
Alice, you'll be leading us.
Yes, today I'm gonna interview you, Matilda, about what is the Scandinavian Missions Movement and how did it all start?
Yeah.
So maybe you can just start with telling us, if someone hasn't heard about it, what is Scandinavian Missions Movement?
Yeah. Well, Scandinavian Missions Movement, it's a mission organization where our heart is just really to see the kingdom come in Sweden and in the nations.
Yeah.
And our deepest longing is just intimacy with Him. I feel like that is that's the foundation to everything we do. Is just really, we so believe that time in His presence changes everything, and that is so needed to be number one in all mission work, in all ministry, in whatever you do. It always comes from a place of intimacy.
Yeah.
Intimacy with Him. So that's really, that's, so much of who we are. And then the Lord has really spoken to us to bring people, like, to awaken the church and awaken His bride, actually, to that deeper love and to intimacy with Him, and to train and equip people. I feel like that's a big part of what we do, and to send people into their destiny. So awaken, train, send.
Yes.
And we do that, for all of you who don't know, we do that through, we have a training center with schools, a mission school, but also shorter schools. And we do a lot of community and discipleship with just community and doing life together. We have a prayer house, and we are also launching a church. And in the future, we believe that we will have church planting as part of what we do. And also we're launching a few new things, but a business network also this spring. So there's a lot of things happening right now.
Always a lot going on.
Yeah, always a lot.
And if someone doesn't know, where in the world are we?
Yeah, we are in Sweden, in Gothenburg.
In Sweden, in Gothenburg.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for how long has this movement existed?
Well, we started, it's funny, because Alice knows the story, but you will hear it again. But we started, we launched 2018 in September. That was when everything, was started. And then it's grown from there because, in the beginning, we started from nothing.
Yes.
So, but that was when we launched.
So 2018.
Yeah.
But you were the founder of the movement. So how did you come up with this idea that you were gonna start a missions movement?
Yeah, no, that's a crazy story. It's a crazy story. It's beautiful, isn't it? Sometimes where, Alice, I feel like we've talked about that. I love that, walking with Him, because you can see His plans. Like, we don't always understand what He's doing. And, even I know your story, how we came together, of how He is orchestrating. And that fascinates me, looking back at my life. So my plan was, I was in missions, in overseas missions in Africa, in Mozambique. And my plan, I knew I was a pioneer, and I knew I was going to start. He had told me I was called to start a missions movement where it felt, that's really big. Like, how do you even do that? And he said training school, and I knew parts of it. And I thought it would be in Africa, somewhere not in Sweden.
Yes.
And he spoke very clear. And he said, Matilda, I'm about to move in Sweden and in Scandinavia. And he asked me a question: what if the people that you're called to train is actually, like, starts in Scandinavia, up in the north, in Sweden, in Europe? And he asked me, what if? That's what he said. And I knew, you know, when he said that, it just really spoke to my heart. And I knew, like, this is him. He's calling me back. He's calling me back to Sweden. And it was so clear. Yeah, it was a crazy story. But even the next day, it was such... I was heading somewhere else. You know, I knew pieces what I was called. I knew I was going to start something, but I didn't think it was in Sweden. But it was so clear when he spoke. And it was so powerful, especially when he said, you know, I'm about to move, which I really believe, which we really believe. You know, he's moving in our nation, and people need to be trained and equipped here. But he made it so clear the next day. You know, I was out. Many people have heard that story, but I was out. I was in Malawi at the time, and it was a woman. And so he'd spoken to me about Sweden and coming back, and she had a picture on her head, like a headscarf, and it was the Swedish flag within, like a shield, but it was the Swedish flag. And it even had M, and you know, my name's Matilda, and it even had M in the shield. And it was just, and I just heard the Lord speaking so clear when I saw that, you know, on her headscarf. He was just, Matilda, like, I'm moving in Sweden. And which now, you know, I love being here. So he knows the best. He really does. And it's given me such a heart, you know. And I think, you know, you have such a similar story of not wanting to be in Sweden. So God knows what he's doing. But yeah, so what was your question? Yeah, that was how he spoke about Sweden.
So like so when did the thought of like starting a missions movement?
Yeah, well, that
I mean, I know it was a process for a few years. Even.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I think the Lord does that a lot. You know, he gives us pieces of the puzzle. And I even now, even when I look at where we are at now, in the beginning, when we launched, I only had a few pieces. So he's been adding on. The vision has grown. But he said, so when I came back then to Sweden, you know, he sent me home with that. He said missions movement, he said training center and community, actually. Those were very clear. And then he said awaken, train, send, also very clear early on. So I had those, those things were all, he'd like spoken that. And I remember being like, coming back to Sweden, and, you know, was just here. I came back, and because I hadn't lived in Sweden for quite, you know, 5 years, I think, at a time then. So just coming back to our nation, and it felt so big. And I think even, you know, when we prepared for this episode of even encouraging people, sometimes I feel like God has spoken to many people, but we can feel, it feels so impossible. So it's like, and it's like, I don't even know how to start, you know, or it feels like so big. And that's how I felt. But I was back in Sweden and felt a little bit, because I'm also a pioneer, but I hadn't really started stepping into that. So I was just frustrated because I was like, I'm born to do something else, but I can't step into it. And it was just this kind of frustration, actually. And then I was visiting another ministry in Holland that we are connected to, an amazing ministry called Lighthouse. And I was there, and this is 2017, they prophesied. So I'd been home in Sweden for like 2 years or 1.5 or something, and they prophesied over me, and the Lord touched me in a very significant way. He marked me. That's what he did. And the prophecy was basically, you're a pioneer, and now's the time to start. And the whole team will come together that he has prepared. And you will be amazed of everything that God is going to do within a year. So I came back to Sweden, and I was like, what has happened? Something has shifted. And I came to a place where I was, if I don't start, I'm disobedient to the Lord. And I was struggling so much with, who am I to do this? And I feel like I cannot do this, and had so many things that I could say, all the reasons why I could not do it. But I came to a place where I realized, if I don't do it, I'm disobedient to him. And that's the worst. For me, that's the worst, to be disobedient to him. I remember, like, how do I even start, Lord? Because missions movement feels quite big, like, and a base, and, you know, we have nothing. I'd been a missionary, I had no money, I have nothing. I was like, that's just crazy. And he said, so clear. Start with a school and start training people. And from there, you will raise up leaders and then it will grow. So
Yeah.
that's how we started. And then, I met you
Yeah.
and some other leaders who were in from the start, which was beautiful. Can't you share this also, Alice? Because I love that, how you also were prepared.
Yeah.
It prepared you also to join
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I was in Gothenburg in university studying, but I had also like been a little bit in like the mission field and other parts, other countries than you have. But so I felt like I wanted to stay. Like I was loving being involved with missions, and I thought I was gonna stay in a different part of the world. And then God called me very clearly back to Sweden, and I was like, but why? What am I supposed to do there? And also, like you said, I think it's very common, like you feel a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
I think that's like very important to emphasize, because I think there's something on that, like you said, like a lot of times we feel frustrated because we know that there's something coming, but when we don't know what it is, it's often a time before it like becomes clear that can be very frustrating. So I was here, and then I was studying, just like do something in the meantime. And then I had met you through a mutual friend just one time before, I think.
Yeah.
And then we met at a church gathering, and you said that you basically asked me if I wanted to be a leader in the school because God had highlighted me to you. And it was so like such a funny moment, because you said like you can take some time and pray about it, but I knew that like no, this is why he called me back. Like I'm like, no, I don't have to pray about it, because I know that this is what I have been waiting for. So I was like just very immediately felt like my heart was like, oh yeah, this is it. And it's funny because I didn't really know you.
No.
We had only met like one time before that, I think, maybe 2 times, but not more than that. So it really was God. And then the other people in the team, how many were we? Like maybe 6 people. In the first school, I think. So not that many, and people basically had like similar story to that I have. So a team that you didn't know super well, and we all just came together very shortly before it all started. It was really, really, I'm really thankful for that experience to be a part of. Just how it started from nothing to a full school, and now to see what the movement is today. It has been amazing.
It's crazy looking back at and just seeing what he has done, because it's such a you can just see his faithfulness, the Lord's faithfulness. And I love that. I love seeing how he orchestrated, bringing people together in such a beautiful way.
Yeah. And I think it really has taught me a lot, like what you shared, that I think a lot of people can like recognize themselves in, like, you have words from the Lord, and it's not like he very rarely gives the whole picture. Like you knew that you were going to start a movement and a training center and community, but he didn't tell you exactly how before it all started. But then you like had this word that knew that now was the time, and then he kept on adding. And I think that can be helpful for people, because I think a lot of people have different dreams and prophetic words, and it's hard to know when to start and where to start. But he will show you, and there will also be a time when you feel like, I have to step out. He's not going to do it for you.
No, he won't. and you can, many people can be waiting like a little bit too long sometimes. Because I think sometimes we just have to start, like when we start moving, things will start coming into place, and everything won't be ready when you start, because especially if you're called to be a pioneer, like you have to just walk out and start moving. But it is so true, and I think what really helped was also for me to see, so, the vision, because I see it, and I have that, like I know where we're heading, but we're here, and it's this thing of taking. Sometimes you just have to. I think it helped me to realize, because I was seeing that, and I was like, well, I'm here, and that was when he helped me to take a little step. A school, like that's not a super small step, but in one way it was a small step compared to what we are doing now today. That was a small step. That was the first step, and to just like take a little step, like look, if you kind of see where you feel like he's calling you, and to take like to break that down into like a
Yeah.
smaller, okay, what is it that I actually can start doing? Because I think, at least in Sweden, I can feel like sometimes the church, we are a little bit
Passive?
passive,
Yeah.
yeah, or a little bit like, and I think the kingdom is always expanding. Like that is a part of what it is. It's always moving. It's always
Yeah.
like forward in a way, and I think we can be a little bit stuck because we're not moving. We're not taking steps.
Yeah.
So that's really helped me.
It's
Yeah.
also it's like the like the story with the boy who takes the fish and the bread,
Yeah.
and Jesus multiplies it.
Yeah.
It's also like really like taking what's in your hand, like what can I do? Like you didn't know how to start a full-on
Yeah.
movement,
Yeah.
but like, oh, a school that I can do.
Yeah.
And of course it also felt, oh, I can't do this. It was still hard, but
Yeah.
also like something to start with what you have and what you know, and then see what God will do when He
Yeah.
breathes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I think that is, that makes it easier also. I think that's something that helps me because I'm like, okay, surrender and give what
Yeah.
that I can do. I can always just give what he's given me like back to him as a offering almost. And then Lord, okay, this is yours.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want with it. Like I realized that like of one thing, I just long, it's almost like a goal in my life, I guess, of I really want to live a surrendered life because
Yeah.
I believe that that is such a key. Yeah.
But I'm thinking about two different things that can be interesting to hear about when it all started. Like something that I think could be a hindrance for a lot of people is like we didn't have a place to host the school in.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Because that could have been like, oh, I can't do this because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have a house, I don't have a
Yeah.
building.
And I think that's part of being a, you know, if you are called to be a pioneer, that will be like there will be nothing.
Yeah.
Of course, you can be called to be a pioneer and be within the, like I would say most of our team are pioneers. So, you know, it can be like, you know, you can be part of a ministry that is like a pioneering kind of ministry.
Yeah.
So you can be, but like I know for me, you know, because in the beginning it was just there really was nothing.
Yeah.
And that will always be the case of and I think what we have to do, I think that is like a general principle in a way, just in life. We can look at our circumstances, and they will always be, you know, whatever they can be. The circumstance can be, okay, we have no building, but what has God said? And for me, that helps. Like actually, in a lot of areas of my life, basically every area, I try to be. What is He speaking? And I
Yeah.
listen. Like I need to listen to what He is saying, more than I look at my situation
Yeah.
and my circumstances. Because if I start looking at my situation, then you know that I will get very discouraged in
Yeah.
a lot of ways because
Yes.
there's a lot of like I say, you
Exactly.
know, basically everything we do, there, we've seen it's all up. It's so we have so many testimonies of what He's done, and it's like I could be this. It's just so many crazy stories of His faithfulness, but it's all been. The situation, you know what I mean, like we had
Yeah.
no building and
Yes.
so many areas like that. So you have to come to see what has the Lord said.
Yes. And to walk it like you
Yeah.
really are a woman who's known for like walking in faith.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that was like really such a key for how it all started.
Yeah.
To, like you said, like to take what He has said and believe that and to have faith for that over what your circumstances looked like.
Yeah.
Because I remember that we had leaders, we had speakers coming that were booked, and we had students who had applied, but we didn't have a building.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop you.
No.
And God sometimes isn't on our timeline, but just like believing that He will provide a building
Yeah.
before it starts, like
Yeah.
when we need it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And it's happened over and over again.
Yes.
Even like
Yeah.
I even remember so we got a building, and that was a crazy story. You know, what happened was I remember we had no building, and I received a prophetic word that we would get a building within a week. And that night I had a dream, and I dreamt about a building, and I wake up hearing, call, and this guy that I barely knew a little bit. I know him better now, but then I didn't really know him.
Yeah.
Just call him, and I called him, and I was like, "Hey, me and my team, we're starting a school, and we have no building, but I had a dream, and God spoke that, to call you." And
Yeah.
and I didn't know that, but he happened to have a building.
Yeah.
And it will happen to be free. And, we
Yeah.
were able to rent that building. And then just before, within that week, the word was, before you speak, I was speaking at that conference that you were actually, this
Yeah.
youth conference.
That I
you
was
were-
leading.
Yeah, that you were leading. Before you speak at that youth conference, we will have a building. And what happened was 3 hours, so all of that happened. We saw the building, it was a great building. And then 3 hours before I was going to preach, this couple in the States were like, we want to support, and they gave money towards the whole first, like that whole for school,
Yeah.
to pay that building. But then I remember next year when we were going to launch the next school, we had no building again.
Yeah.
And it was like just a few weeks before we're going to start the school. And I think that's the crazy thing, when you walk in faith, it's like, that's what I can feel. It's like, if you don't show up, this is all going to fall,
Yeah.
and that's what I feel. Actually, our whole ministry in one way
Yes.
still is built that way. Like my whole life, I feel like, Lord, if it's not you upholding it,
Yeah.
it will all, because it's all based so much like how He has gone before us and prepared, which has been amazed, and it still amazes me. It's like I'm blown
Yeah.
away of His faithfulness. Yeah, but
And
it is, and I think it's so important to learn that, to start
Yes.
being, we always have a choice. I usually talk about that of Joshua and Caleb, because I think it's such a good example. They were the spies, of all the spies that were sent into the promised land. It was only Joshua and Caleb. They were like God has said, because God had said it was the promised land. And all the other ones were overwhelmed by their circumstances. So all the other spies, they looked at all the impossible things. They saw all the, they were like, oh, we see all these giants. We see it's impossible, basically. They're like, we're like these little, we're like little grasshoppers, and they were like overwhelmed. And Joshua and Caleb could have been as well, but
Yeah.
they were like, no, God has said. And I think that is how it is walking by faith. You have to be, if I start looking at this situation, I would, I can't even do that. I need to always be like, Lord, what
Yeah.
are you saying? Because, yeah.
He's the God of the impossible.
Yeah.
So we don't have to look at our circumstances.
Yeah, no, He really is.
Yeah. And it was the same thing with the students.
Yeah.
Like Matilda had felt that we were not supposed to like make any advertisement for the school
Yeah.
whatsoever. So like no sharing it on social media, or like it was very like on the low, and just to see how God brought in people was just amazing.
Yeah.
Because that was also something that like would go against what would feel natural and like would be the normal way to do things. But God had said that you were not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And that was really something that helped us to really believe that He was going to make everything come through, because He had provided the students, He provided the leadership team, and then everything just kept adding on.
Yeah. No, I remember that. When He said that, I was like, Lord, you're kidding. We're pioneered ministry in Sweden. and people don't know us. Like, where will the students come from? And He spoke so clear, and He said, I have handpicked people. Like, I've handpicked the students, and they will know, because we shared about it, but we just didn't put it on social media. We talked about it, but like nothing else.
It was like a secret. But
Yeah. We did no advertisement. And He said, I remember He said so clear, it will be so, I'm bringing this together. And I have handpicked the students, and they will come. And I remember we were studying in amazement when we started. We had 16 students.
Yeah.
And that's big in Sweden, especially for a pioneered
Yeah.
ministry, everything
First
new,
time school.
first time school. And I remember
Yeah.
being like looking at like, where do you all come from? It's like, no, that was crazy. I think my favorite story, Alice, when we started is actually also with, I told that time in Holland
Yeah.
when it all started, and when I came back and when, it all kind of like, okay, this is the time, and you and the rest of the team all came together, and he sounds so funny, but that was really how it felt. That was like something has shifted, and I knew like something shifted in like I feel like I'm carrying something in the spirit, which sounds funny, but that's really how it felt, and I knew I'm pregnant spiritually, so to say, like something is coming. And people came up to me and gave me these words of like, I see this woman about to give birth. And they were like, I don't understand what it means. And I was like, oh, I know what it means. It's
Yeah.
like, because I feel it. I feel like I've been carrying this. And then one time I was out running and the Lord spoke to me and he said, like, Matilda, when did this start? And it started many years ago. Like he'd been preparing, all of us separately from different places. We
Yeah.
came together, but I knew what he meant, and he meant that time in Holland, which was such a significant, marking. And so I was like, well, November 2017, and he's like, yeah, count the weeks. And by this time we had set a launch day, so we had set a day for the launching
Yeah.
of everything. Which was in September, the beginning of September. And he said, count the weeks. So I counted the weeks from that time in Holland and up to September when we were going to start. So this was probably in June or something. So I was counting the weeks, and I realized the day that we had set as launching, that was 40 weeks on the day. And I was like, that's crazy, because that's a normal like pregnancy.
Yeah,
And I just
yeah.
laughed, because sometimes Lord, he's so funny in that, how he can be in these crazy details.
Yeah.
And I remember a friend, Patricia Bootsma, a prophet, who we didn't know at the time. Now I know her well, but she walked in. We'd never met. She was through some other spiritual parents of mine that connected me with her. She walked in and she started prophesying. And like, I think it was like the second week or something. She was like, there's a baby that's been born. It's a baby of revival, and she was prophesying. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
so crazy. Yeah. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
fun times.
Yes. It's been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
Is there anything else like you want to share to someone who also has a like pioneer calling or a longing, like something that you have learned?
Oh, lots. Still learning.
Yeah.
Well, I think a big thing is, because you will always have reasons why you feel like you cannot do it, and especially in Sweden. And I think in other nations as well, but I know our culture the best. It's a lot of things that are like, who am I? Or I cannot do this.
Yeah.
And I think you have to, like, we all have those things. I had ideas. I thought it would look different. I thought I would be married. I thought I thought all these things that I thought how it would look before I would start.
Yeah.
But you have to come to a place where you just, I said, I cannot let this hold me back. And I think that applies if you're not a pioneer, or it doesn't really matter if you're a pioneer or not a pioneer, but we all have, in our journey with the Lord, we come to a place where we have to let go of, for us to step into our full destiny, we have to let go of some things that are holding us back. We will all come to that place where it's like, if I want to step into the fullness,
Yeah.
I have to take a step of faith. I have to let go of the ideas that of whatever,
Yeah.
So I think that applies to everyone who wants to step into the fullness of their destiny, basically. And for pioneers, I would say, just go for it. Basically, start moving.
Yeah.
Start taking a step. Like, take one step, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Because, like, you cannot, because a problem is we think it will look. Sometimes I can feel, for example, people who feel, I want to write a book, and they have this dream of writing a book, and they never start, and then it's not like one day that you will just have a book. You have to start, write a sentence, do something. It's like, and I think that really, like we talked about before, that's such
Yeah. Take a small step.
take a small step.
Yes.
And I can see, I could say so much about pioneering. I feel like he's really been,
Yeah.
and I can see that on our whole
Yeah.
team. It's been a journey. He's been training us. It's been like I can see how much has happened in all of us.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, even where we are today, and what we're doing and what we feel like God is speaking about has grown. If I look on those early days, it's like
Yeah.
he's giving, because it was too much. If he would have given us the full picture, I think it would have been overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was already a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it's like now he's like, okay, now you guys are ready for another piece and another piece and another piece. But yeah, we need more pioneers. So go for it. That's my that's my advice. Yeah.
Yes. And I think like in our culture, the normal say is more like believe in yourself to do something. Like you have to believe in your idea. But this is like so different. Like no, it's actually believing in God.
Yeah.
And that makes it both easier and harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really like if you believe in him, and that makes it easier because you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
He's gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I also think like that's where it starts, to believe what he said.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What has he spoken about?
Yeah.
You don't have to
Absolutely.
believe in yourself. You don't have to have all the things that you
No.
said. You thought you were going to be married, or
Yeah.
other things like, who am I to do this?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it doesn't matter who you are.
No.
It's about who he is.
Yeah. And that's so true, because that's the thing. And I think that also that is
Yeah.
what we need to hear a lot, like, of actually what he says is more important.
Yeah.
And that goes to all of us,
Yes.
no matter how and what he has put over your life, to let his truth define you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that could be said, and
Yeah.
maybe we will have to do another episode.
Yeah.
But maybe this is enough for today. Thank
so.
you, Matilda,
Oh,
for
thank
everything you shared.
Thank you, Alice. This was really fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Should we just pray for the people that feel called as pioneers? I feel
Yes,
like that. I feel
that's
like
a
God
good
is
idea.
on that. So Lord, we just bless every single one who's listening to this episode, especially all of you. We really want to bless everyone who feels like God has spoken to you about dreams in your heart. We just bless you to take steps into the things that God has placed over your life. And we bless you. Also, we just want to bless every single person who's listening to this episode to just to align yourself to the truth of what the Lord is saying over your life. That is more important. What he is saying, that will define you, of who you are. You are his daughter, you are his son, and that is more important than anything. So Lord, we just bless everyone who's listening to this episode. We ask that you would just breathe faith over everyone, that everything is possible. With you, everything is possible. So Lord, we ask that you would just breathe on that, that even in people, in their hearts, the dreams that you put in their hearts, that you will just spark faith in their hearts. Thank you, Father. Yeah. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.